What's the story, Morning Glory? What is the word, Hummingbird? Thank you so much for clicking on my channel and for joining me for this review of Love After Lockup, Season 4, Episode 32, Married at Release. So let's start off with Gabby and Chris. Y'all, Gabby is exhausting. I don't know how his mother and his sister, his meaning Chris, I don't know how his mom and his sister were able to be in that car with her for 1 minute because she is a lot. She's a lot. She's extremely immature with her emotions. All of that yelling and screaming and trying to kick the mother and the sister out of the car, she looked like a 2 year old having a tantrum. And then when she got on the phone with Chris and was screaming and yelling at him, I was really worried for her health. I thought she was going to bust a blood vessel and have an aneurysm because she was so out of control, angry. And about what? Your original plan was to go with his mother and his sister to go pick him up. That was your original plan. Why don't you just stick to that? No one is flipping the script on you. No one is changing the course of action on you. The plan was all three of y'all were going to go pick up Chris. So go pick up Chris. Like, what is going on here? So she's yelling and screaming into the phone on the sidewalk. Oh, before that, she goes to a police. There's a cop that's parked nearby. And she goes up to the cop and she says, I want to get my boyfriend's mother and sister out of my car. And he's like, what do you want me to do about it? Call the city police for that. I don't know what division he was a part of, or he probably could have done something, but he saw how wacky she was acting. He was like, I want no part of this. He was like, call the city police. So she doesn't call the city police because she said she doesn't like cops, but she went up to a cop asking for assistance. So then she calls Chris, or Chris called her. I don't know. She's on the sidewalk screaming into the phone, and we don't hear what he's saying, which is sort of unusual because normally they allow us to hear what the other person is saying on the phone. But in this situation, she did not have him on speakerphone. And so I don't know what he was saying, but you could tell he was telling her, get in that damn car and come pick me up. I'm sick and tired of waiting at this damn bus station. So she claims, oh, he just started talking really sweet to me because he knows how to smooth talk me. Girl, he was laying down the law and telling you to quit playing around, get in the car. He don't care who's riding with you, but get in that damn car and come pick me up. So she gets back in the car. The sister is like already rolling a blunt. And I'm just like, what is going on here? And I know it's legal wherever they're at, New York, Pennsylvania, New Jersey. I have no idea. It's legal up there. But yeah, okay. I guess she needed to do that to calm herself down because Gabby is a lot. So they finally get to Chris. He's waiting outside, and Chris wasn't really what I was expecting. I guess maybe he wasn't eating a lot in prison. He had nice teeth though. Chris had a really nice set of teeth. His teeth were really, really pretty. They were white, straight, everything. His teeth were really nice. So she runs to him because she made a big deal about how she was going to be the first one to hug him before his mom or his sister. That's another sign of immaturity. It doesn't even matter, girl. So she runs up to him, gives him a hug and all of that. And it was really whatever. And he tells us that he was a victim of police brutality and he filed a lawsuit and he won. And the settlement that he got, he ended up splitting it between him, his mom, and Gabby. So it's good to hear that he gave some of the money to his mother because I don't think they had mentioned that in previous episodes. So as soon as they greet him or whatever, she has a set of clothes for him so he can get out of the clothes that he was wearing while he was in prison. So he goes into the bus station to change, and he goes into the men's room, and of course Gabby follows him in there. And so then we hear that Gabby has been celibate for 5 years, so she follows him into the men's room because they want to get it on and popping right then and there in this disgusting bus station men's bathroom. And the security guard stops them before anything could happen, I'm assuming. So then they go back outside and they get married. Okay, they get married right there on the sidewalk in front of the Greyhound bus station. They get married. The mom and the sister are sitting in the car because they have no idea what's going on. No one has informed them I'm assuming no one had informed them that they were going to be getting married right then and there on the sidewalk. So Chris was upset because his mom and sister were not part of the ceremony and he wanted their support. So he was like kind of mad at them. But my question is, did y'all even tell the mom and sister this was happening? Because they were sitting in their car playing on their phones, not knowing what the hell was going on. They didn't know where Gabby and Chris were. They saw them, but they didn't know what the hell was going on. So it was just insane. And so they get married, and Gabby tells us that the reason why they had to get married right away is because for him to be paroled at her house and for them to live together while he's on parole, they have to be married. And this is the reason why they had to do it so quickly like that. A hot mess. She says that ever since she was a little girl, she's always dreamed of having a beach wedding, wearing a very body-fitting wedding gown. Girl, this ain't it. This is not it. But I guess I had to do what I had to do, because it's so funny, y'all, that I never thought that Michael and Justine's wedding would actually look better than anything else, because they got married in the prison. I didn't think that anything could be worse than that, but here we are. The prison marriage of Michael and Justine looks like the royal wedding compared to this sidewalk wedding of Gabby and Chris in front of the Greyhound bus station. At least with Justine, she was able to get dressed up in a wedding gown, and she was able to put herself together. Gabby was just in some sweats and a t-shirt and a flannel or something. I have no idea what she was wearing. Oh, it was a t-shirt with Chris's picture on it. And yeah. So they're married now and she's happy. I'm assuming later on they're going to have like an actual decent ceremony or reception or something, because that was not it. Moving on to Monique and Derek. So Monique, I feel like when they show Monique in her confessionals, she looks a little bit slimmer than she does, in the regular recordings or whatever, the regular filming. I'm wondering if she ended up losing a significant amount of weight. I don't know, maybe my eyes are playing tricks on me, but it seems like to me that in her confessional, and my understanding is that they do the confessionals after they're done recording for the entire season, she does look a little bit slimmer, but maybe my eyes are playing tricks on me. So her and her sister are on their way to go pick up Derek. They're going to stay at a hotel first before they drive to the prison to go pick him up. And I noticed that when they were driving to the hotel, that Monique had a seatbelt extender for her seatbelt. So I'm not judging, I'm not passing judgment or anything like that. I'm just making an observation that she had a seatbelt extender. The sister and Derek do not get along because Monique calls Derek, or he calls her, and she's speaking to him on speakerphone in the car, and she tells Derek, oh, my sister's here too. So the sister and Derek, they start talking. Well, they actually start arguing because the sister thinks that Derek is way too controlling to Monique. He doesn't allow Monique to go out. He always wants her in the house. And Derek said, it's not like I don't want her to go out, but whenever I do call her and I'm trying to connect with her and have a conversation with her, she's out and about and it's distracting. So it's not like I don't want her to go out. I just want her to, I don't know, give all of her time to him when he calls. I have no idea, but it seems like he doesn't want her to go out, period. So her and her sister arrive at the hotel, and Monique starts unpacking all this stuff that she had bought for Derek. I mean, she had bought him some high-end stuff, like name brand clothes and shoes, and she got him a brand new cell phone. And the sister made a remark and said, I don't know why she was spending all this money on him when she couldn't even spend any money on my son for his birthday. She says that Monique didn't even buy anything for her son for his birthday, but she's got thousands of dollars to spend on Derek, someone who she's never met, someone who hasn't done nothing for her. She's spending all this money on him. Like, she said she spent $3,000. No, she said she spent $5,000 just on clothes for him alone. In total, Monique says that she has spent $10,000 on this man. And I'm just like, desperate much, Monique? Desperate much? Why don't you wait until because already we know that you're in it. You're in it no matter what. The only question is he in it? Because you're the one that really went through the test of time. You're the one that's free. You're the one that has the ability to walk away, to cheat on him, to be with other people, but you chose to be loyal to him. So you passed that test. He still has a test to pass for you, because him being in prison and being loyal to you doesn't mean anything, because he doesn't have any options in prison, or so we think. He doesn't have any options in prison. So the fact that he has, dedicated his whole time to you while he's been in prison doesn't mean a damn thing. Why don't you wait until he comes out of prison, when he's surrounded by other distractions, when he has the ability to walk away from you, and test his loyalty then? And then if he can pass that test, if he can prove his true loyalty to you, then you can start showering money on him. But this woman had bought him like all kinds of name brand stuff. She bought him some Timberlands. She bought him a Burberry jogger set. I mean, she just went all out for this guy. So the phone. So she bought him a new iPhone, and she already programmed it and everything. And she's got the password set up in it. But then again, like, when he gets the phone and you tell him the password, he's going to change it. So what's the point? But anyway, she got the password set up in it. She got the tracker set up on it, so she's got it set up to where she can figure out what the hell he's doing. And so her sister says to her, he's going to be really mad when he finds out what you've done to the phone, because he wants to be the one in control of the relationship. And Monique says, well, he can be in control of the relationship because I'm going to be in control of this phone. Why does he have to be in control of the relationship? What has he done, Monique, to prove to you that he should be the head of your household and be in control of the relationship? Anywho, so they're on their way to go see Derek. They get to the prison. This is the next day. They're on their way to go get Derek, not see him. They're on their way to go get him. And so they drive to the prison, and they park their car, and they're waiting outside the prison property. And they come out of the car, and they're standing next to the car, and they're waiting, right? And so there's this white SUV that keeps on driving back and forth, back and forth. And Monique and her sister notice this. And so they're wondering, like, who the hell is this? Because they can't see in the car, because the windows are like absolutely blacked out, tinted. So Monique is trying to figure out who the hell is in the car. She thinks it might be another woman. So we don't know, because that's where that segment ended. We don't know who the hell is in the car. But Monique, you're looking super duper desperate with all the stuff that you've been doing for this man who hasn't done a damn thing for you, but basically like be so critical of you, because he's very critical of her health and her weight and all of that. So there's this rumor going around online that Monique had catfished Derek. I don't know how, because it seems like she's always been heavy, but she does take these pictures where it's just like from the chest up or whatever. So, but he knows that she's heavy, because he was on the phone, on speakerphone, when she went to go talk to the weight loss consultant. So, and he knows how much weight she wants to lose, because he heard her tell the consultant that she wants to lose at least 100 pounds. So I don't know how much of a catfish that is when he knows that she is heavy. Maybe they're saying that she's catfishing him because he doesn't know exactly how heavy she is. Yeah, moving on to Ashley and Travis. So Ashley, she's 38. Travis is 44. Keep that in mind. Travis is going to be released after 13 years in prison for bank robbery. So she goes to she's working. When we see her in this episode, she's working. She goes to some jewelry vendors, I guess, to try to buy some jewelry, because that's what she does for a living. She's a purveyor of fine jewelry, whatever that means. So she tells the vendors that she has been working with, for years, and they have developed this relationship with one another. And it's a husband and wife couple. She tells them that her boyfriend, she's about to go pick up her boyfriend. And so then one of the things about Ashley is that she struggles with how people are going to perceive her once they find out that her boyfriend has been in prison for 13 years. That kind of bothers her. She's very conscious of that. So she tells these people that she's been dealing with in business, she tells them, I'm going to go get my boyfriend, but I'm going to go get him from prison because he's been locked up for 13 years. And they're like, what? They had no idea. And so she says, yeah, but he was only in there for bank robbery. It wasn't like, he was a child molester or a murderer. He was only in there for bank robbery. Yeah, he was only in there for bank robbery. When he went to go rob this bank, whoever was in the bank at the time probably thought that they had seen their last days, thought they were going to get killed. But yeah, he was only in there for bank robbery. So, she starts, so she tells them that, he was in prison, bank robbery, but it's no big deal. He's coming out now. And, the vendors ask her, well, how do you feel that he's going to be around all of this fine jewelry and he's a thief? Are you worried about that? And she says, no, she's not really worried about it. She says that she's going to make him, she's going to turn him into the best man in the world. She's not worried about that at all. Okay. She wants Travis to be to work for her. So she wants to introduce him into this fine jewelry business that she does. And next time when we see Ashley, she's on her way to Virginia. So she lands in Virginia because I think that's where he's located. And when she gets there, she finds out that her luggage is lost. And so it's a very stressful moment and trying to figure out how to get her luggage there on time because his ID is in the luggage and he won't be able to fly with her if he does not have his ID. And I'm thinking, girl, why wouldn't you keep that in your wallet? Something like his ID, which is extremely important, and his important papers. Why wouldn't you have kept that in your purse? Like, why are you keeping that in your luggage? Knowing that it's very possible that luggage can get lost. But anyway, moving on. So after spending one night in the hotel, she's on her way to go get her man. And so she is driving to the prison. And while she's driving there, she's telling us that she really wants them to be a husband and wife duo in the fine jewelry industry. So this reminds me, so maybe when she was dealing with the vendors, because they were a husband and wife team, maybe she kind of looked upon them with a little bit of envy. Like, wow, I wish I could be like y'all, me and Travis, have this jewelry business together like the way y'all have. I don't know. Anyways, moving on. So he finally comes out. And when he comes out, he does not look like someone who's done 13 years behind bars. He came out looking so fresh and so clean. He looked pretty decent for someone who's been locked up for 13 years. Because, if you look at Chris, Gabby's man, Chris, when he came out of prison after doing 6 years, he looks like he had been, maybe some, dibbing and dabbing in some narcotics or something behind bars, because he really looked like somebody who had done some hard time. But your boy Travis, after 13 years, looking fresh and clean as a newborn babe. So they hug, they kiss, she starts crying. And even though he's older than her by 6 years, because she's 38 and he's 44, she looks way older than him. He just has this very boy next door baby face kind of thing going on. She looks a lot older than him. She looks like she's at least a good 10 years older than him, but he's actually older than her. So he gives us a breakdown of his criminal history. Every time he ever tried to rob a bank or rob whoever, he always got caught. So he hasn't been a very successful criminal. He says every single time he's committed a crime, he got caught and went to jail. And he talks to us about how he met Ashley. He said that Ashley contacted him. I don't know through what or how, but she contacted him first. And he was smitten by her because he says that when he saw her pictures, her eyes really captivated him. And she does have very pretty eyes. But those pictures that she has sent them, I don't know how long ago she sent those pictures or how long ago those pictures were taken. But that's not the Ashley that we're dealing with now. Let me just say that. And I'm going to leave that at that. Moving on to Justine and Michael. So Michael has just been released after 6 years in prison, and they're at Justine's house. And her oldest son, she's got 3 children. She's got a teenage daughter and 2 boys. So her oldest son, who looks to be about middle school age, he comes home from school first. And Michael gives him a really big hug. The way he hugged him, I was kind of confused. I was like, is that his son or her son? Because he hugged her son as if it was his own child that he hadn't seen in years, which is actually the truth because he hasn't seen his own kids in years. But he hugged this child as if it was his own, and as if they've had this, really strong bond all of these years. But this is the first time that they've seen each other in person, Michael and Justine's kids, the very first time that they've seen each other in person. But he hugged him as if they have been, together their whole entire lives. And after he hugged him, Justine asked her son, "Are you happy?" And the boy was like, "Yeah, I guess." And Michael could sense that the boy was a little bit nervous. So then the pizza shows up, and as they're eating the pizza, Justine hugged Michael, and her son was sitting right there. So she hugs Michael, and as she's hugging him, her son pulls Justine away from him, and then he hugs his mom, and he tells his mom, "I haven't seen you all day, and you haven't hugged me yet." And, she hugs her son back, and she's like, "Oh, this is, he's really attached to me. This is the one that's the most attached to me out of all of my 3 kids." And every time she got close to Michael, her son would pull her back. I don't even want to go into my spiel about these the involving the children in these situations that are, so flimsy, these relationships that are built on a hope and a dream, and the children are involved and they're stuck in the middle, and the children are uncomfortable because you've got this guy who they don't know, who's been locked up for so long, living in their home now under the same roof as them, and you want your children to adjust just like that. And I'm not even going to get into all of that, but this child was unhappy. He did not look like he was happy about this situation at all, which was completely different from the youngest boy. So the youngest boy comes home, and he gets off the bus, and they're waiting for him outside. And as soon as that little boy got off the bus, he ran to Michael, jumped in his arms. He had the biggest smile on his face. This child was happy to see Michael. And Justine tells us that none of the fathers are in her son's lives. So she's happy that Michael is there, I guess, to be the substitute dad, the stepdad, or whatever, because their fathers are not involved with them at all. So the little one was the happiest to see Michael, and we never got to see the daughter. So the plan is for Justine and Michael to go spend the night at a hotel. So she's already hired a sitter, all of that. So Justine tells us that she thought that they were going to get it on and poppin', because they've been apart for so long. She thought they were going to get it on and poppin' in her house before her kids came home, but Michael said he wasn't ready. So they're going to go to a hotel and consummate the relationship there at the hotel. So they get to the hotel. He actually carries her over the threshold, which I thought was so cute. And yeah, they got it on and popping over there. Let's just say that. So that's where that segment ended. They did what it did, and I'm assuming that everybody was happy. But the children, man. The children. So then we move on to a new couple, Eris and Cameron. Eris is 31 years old. She does need an entry. Cameron is 30 years old, and he did 2 years in prison for possession of marijuana and trafficking 30 pounds of marijuana. Later on in the segment, he tells us how he got caught. He was trying to transport marijuana in his suitcase, and he got caught at the airport. And they had to tase him because he tried to run. Anywho, so he is also, along with being a drug dealer, his other occupation is he's a rapper from Cincinnati, Ohio. And that's how she came across him. I don't know. I think she said she came across his video on YouTube. She said she's not into rap, but for whatever reason, she was watching a rap video, and then she reached out to him. But even though she's not into rap or rappers, so she reached out to him, slid into his DMs, and the rest is history, as they say. She tells us that when they were communicating, because when they met, he was not in prison yet. He was, out. He was free. So when she slid into his DMs and they were communicating, she said that he didn't tell her right away that he was about to go do time. But he ended up doing time. He did 2 years, and now he's out. So they kept up the relationship throughout the whole time. She has a daughter, okay? And her daughter looks to be about maybe like somewhere around between 8 and 11 years old, somewhere around there. And her daughter is with her when she's in this store trying to buy a plant for Cameron because he's going to have to go to the halfway house, and she wants to make his room at the halfway house to be real cozy. So she's trying to find this plant, and she asks her daughter a question. I forgot. I think she asked her, what should we name the plant? And the daughter said we should name the plant Eris Jr. And she says to her daughter, oh, okay, you want to give the plant my name so that he doesn't think about other women. And I'm like, what kind of thing is that to say to your young daughter? What? And then later on, she tells her daughter that Cameron gives her butterflies. What? I mean, she is talking to this child like her child is her good girlfriend. This is your child, and you're talking about these adult matters with your child. I thought it was extremely inappropriate, but maybe I'm old fashioned. Maybe that's what they do now. I don't know. So, her daughter's father is not, her daughter's father lives outside of the United States. So she only really communicates with her father over the phone. And Eris tells us that she wants her daughter to have a more present father figure. So she's looking forward to this guy, Cameron, being that father figure. So now it's the day of his release. In her confessional, she tells us that she doesn't care because he's a rapper, right? And I'm assuming that when he gets out, he's going to go right back into the rap game. So she says she doesn't care about groupies as long as the groupies don't group up on her man. And I'm like, girl, that's what groupies do. That's why they're called groupies. They'll go to the ends of the earth for whatever artist to be all up on them. That's what groupies do. That's why they're called groupies. They're not fans. They're not admirers. They're groupies because they'll do whatever it takes to get close to that particular artist in any way they can. She says that dating a man incarcerated is better than dating a man on the outside because men on the outside only have one thing on their mind. They just want to jump her bones. But when you date a man who's behind bars, because they cannot jump your bones, you have time to cultivate a relationship. And that's why she prefers dating men who are incarcerated. But when he was released, y'all, when Cameron was released with his George Jefferson looking self, all he wanted to do was jump her bones. That's all he wanted to do. That's all he talked about. Oh, my goodness. So he's a little man. He's a lot shorter and smaller than she is. And he comes out in his prison grays and his afro. And to me, he looks like old school George Jefferson. You know, when the Jeffersons first started, or even when George Jefferson was still on All in the Family. You know, he was short, had a big old fro, light skin, big lips. He's like a modern day 2022 version of George Jefferson. So she brings him a new set of clothes, a fresh set of clothes, pair of shoes. So he changes right there, and he leaves his clothes, his old prison clothes and his prison shoes right there on the sidewalk, plus the dead plant. Eris Jr., the plant died because she left it in the car and it died in the cold. So they leave the dead plant and his old clothes right there on the sidewalk and they drive off. And they just left that stuff on the sidewalk like that. That's my review of Love After Lockup. I'm enjoying it. I might seem a little bit disturbed, but I'm totally enjoying it. I'm enjoying this season. I'm enjoying it a lot. There's a couple of people that there's one particular couple that I don't really care for, but they were not featured in this episode, but they will be featured in the next one. Hopefully their storyline kind of picks up. But as far as everybody else, I'm enjoying it. I'm loving it. Thank you so much for joining me. I really do appreciate it. On your way out, do not forget to rate the video. If you like this content, go ahead and subscribe, and I'll definitely talk to you later. Bye.